Hello and welcome viewers. You're watching this special presentation of Sansad TV with your host Kriti Mishra. Parliament is the supreme legislative body of India. The visible part of Parliament's work takes place on the floor of the House. In a year, Parliament meets for the budget session, the monsoon session and the winter session. This part of Parliament's work is televised and closely watched. However, Parliament has another important forum, its parliamentary committees, through which a considerable amount of its work gets done. By combining technical analysis and democratic oversight, parliamentary committees ensure that laws are thoughtfully framed, constitutionally sound and responsive to public interest. In a vibrant democracy like India, the process of lawmaking extends far beyond speeches and voting in Parliament. While the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are the visible arenas of democratic debate, much of the real legislative refinement takes place behind the scenes through parliamentary committees. These committees play a crucial role in shaping laws by ensuring detailed scrutiny, expert consultation, and accountability of the executive, thereby strengthening the quality of governance and democratic functioning. Parliamentary committees exist primarily to overcome the practical limitations of Parliament. Given the vast and complex nature of governance, Parliament has limited time to examine every bill in detail. Committees provide a focused platform where proposed legislation can be examined clause by clause. This allows members to identify ambiguities, inconsistencies, and unintended consequences that may otherwise go unnoticed during floor debates. As a result, laws emerging from committee scrutiny are more precise, coherent, and implementable.
किस तरीके से हमारी संसदीय समितियों की भूमिका हो सकती है, जिससे हम लोकतंत्र को सशक्त करते हुए, उनकी भागीदारी को और सशक्त करते हुए, उनके व्यापक कल्याण के विचारों को आगे बढ़ाते हुए समाज की मुख्य धारा में जोड़ना भी, और जो संवैधानिक ताकत अधिकार दिया है उसकी रक्षा करते हुए उन संसदीय समितियों में व्यापक चर्चा कर हम एक ऐसी समावेशी दृष्टि, एक समावेशी व्यवस्था का निर्माण करेंगे जो हमारे संविधान की मूलधारा समतापूर्वक समाज की है.
Another significant contribution of parliamentary committees lies in their ability to incorporate expert knowledge into the legislative process. Committees regularly invite legal scholars, economists, administrators, industry representatives, and civil society members to present their views. This consultative approach ensures that laws are not drafted in isolation, but are informed by ground realities and practical experience. Such evidence-based lawmaking enhances the credibility and effectiveness of legislation while reducing the risk of future disputes and legal challenges. Parliamentary committees also promote consensus and reduce partisan conflict. Committee discussions are held behind closed doors and encourage constructive dialogue. Members from different political parties work together to improve legislative proposals, placing national interest above party politics. This collaborative spirit helps in building broader acceptance of laws and reinforces democratic legitimacy.
Parliamentary committees are extremely critical committees because everything cannot be discussed in the Parliament, because Parliament is a house of so many members, 543 in the Lok Sabha, so it has a limited scope for the members to discuss, and moreover you have to take on so many subjects one after another. So the actually threadbare discussion, all the scrutinies and the preparations are done in the parliamentary committees. So those sincere MPs, they take parliamentary committees very, very seriously.
A critical function of parliamentary committees is holding the government accountable, particularly in matters of public finance. Committees such as the Public Accounts Committee examine government expenditure and audit reports to ensure that public funds are utilized efficiently and lawfully. By scrutinizing financial decisions and administrative performance, committees act as powerful instruments of oversight and transparency, preventing the misuse of authority. Committees also play an essential role in continuous governance oversight. Their work does not end with the passage of law. They also monitor its implementation and assess policy outcomes over time. This ongoing evaluation enables Parliament to recommend corrective measures, amendments, or policy shifts when necessary. In this way, committees ensure that legislation remains responsive to changing social and economic realities. Parliamentary committees also strengthen India's federal and inclusive character. By accommodating diverse regional perspectives and voices from marginalized sections, committees help ensure that laws reflect the pluralistic nature of Indian society. This inclusiveness is particularly important in a country as diverse as India, where uniform policies must account for varied local conditions.
संसद समितियां मिनी संसद कही जाती, और मैं व्यक्तिगत अनुभव से आपको कह सकता हूं, 2014 में मैं संसद में आया और मैं रक्षा समिति में लगभग 4 वर्षों तक था। इसके बाद कई अन्य समितियों में रहा। समितियों में ये परंपरा मैंने देखी है कि बिल्कुल हम दलों से, निजी हितों से, निजी विचारों से ऊपर उठकर देश के हित की बात करते हैं। जब संसद में इस तरह का माहौल हो, हमारी खास तौर से जो 25-30 वर्षों से लगातार हम देश में देख रहे हैं, बल्कि मैं कहूँगा 67 वगैरह के बाद से ये चीज़ें बढ़ी और देश की विधानसभाओं में, तब इन कमेटियों की उपयोगिता सबसे प्रासंगिक है। और मैंने खुद पाया है, कभी इस कमेटियों पर बात होगी तो मैं अलग से आपसे चर्चा करूंगा। डिफेंस कमेटी में क्या देश की स्थिति हम लोगों ने देखी थी और कहां आज मुल्क खड़ा है। 4 वर्ष में ही क्या मेरा अनुभव रहा, कैसे टर्न अराउंड हुआ चीजों का, जिसमें सभी उसको मानते थे।
To ensure efficiency and specialization, parliamentary committees are organized into different types based on their functions, duration, and scope of work. Broadly, they are classified into standing committees, which function on a continuing basis, and ad hoc committees, which are constituted for specific tasks. This classification allows Parliament to combine continuity with flexibility in the exercise of legislative scrutiny. There are 24 departmentally related standing committees covering under their jurisdiction all the ministries or departments of Government of India. Each of these committees consists of 31 members, 21 from Lok Sabha and 10 from Rajya Sabha, to be nominated by the Speaker of Lok Sabha and Chairman of Rajya Sabha respectively. The term of office of these committees does not exceed 1 year. Each standing committee has to consider and report on the demands of grants of the related ministries or departments. These committees also examine bills pertaining to related ministries or departments referred to the committee by the chairman or the speaker. The panels also consider annual reports of the ministries, departments. Besides this, they also consider national basic long-term policy documents presented to the houses if referred to the committee by chairman or the speaker. Let's take a look at 24 departmentally related parliamentary standing committees. Committee on Commerce, Committee on Home Affairs, Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports, Committee on Industry, Committee on Science and Technology, Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture, Committee on Health and Family Welfare, Committee on Personnel, Public Grievances, Law and Justice, Committee on Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Food Processing, Committee on Communications and Information Technology, Committee on Defence, Committee on Energy, Committee on External Affairs, Committee on Finance, Committee on Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Committee on Labour, Textiles and Skill Development, Committee on Petroleum and Natural Gas, Committee on Railways, Committee on Housing and Urban Affairs, Committee on Water Resources, Committee on Chemicals and Fertilizers, Committee on Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, Committee on Coal, Mines and Steel, and Committee on Social Justice and Empowerment. Let's take a look at the financial committees. Parliament regulates government expenditure to ensure that public finances are used efficiently. Such financial oversight is a complex and technical task. Financial committees facilitate this task for Parliament. These committees are Committee on Public Accounts, Committee on Public Undertakings and Estimates Committee. The Committee on Public Undertakings and Public Accounts consists of 22 members, 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 members from the Rajya Sabha. The Estimates Committee is composed entirely of Lok Sabha MPs. It has 30 members who are elected by the House. Both Houses of Parliament also require significant administrative support for their day-to-day functioning. The Houses have set up different committees, such as the Business Advisory Committee, which helps decide the daily agenda of Parliament. Let's take a look at the committees and their functions. Business Advisory Committee. It recommends time to be allocated for the discussion of bills and other business. Committee on Private Members' Bills and Resolutions. It examines all private members' bills after their introduction. Committee on Government Assurances. Scrutinizes the assurances, promises and undertakings given by the ministers. Rules Committee. It considers matters of procedure and conduct of business in the House. Committee of Privileges. Examines questions involving breach of rights, privileges and immunities enjoyed by MPs. Committee on Ethics. Oversees the moral and ethical conduct of MPs. Committee on Absence of Members from the Sitting of the House. Examines leave applications of MPs. Joint Committee on Offices of Profit. Examines the composition of other committees and recommends what offices may disqualify a person from becoming an MP. Joint Committee on Salaries and Allowances of MPs. It examines salaries and allowances of the MPs. Committee on the Welfare of SCs and STs. Examines measures taken by the government to improve the status of scheduled castes and tribes. Committee on Empowerment of Women. It recommends measures to improve the status and conditions for women. Library Committee. Advises on the improvement of Parliamentary Library. House Committee. It advises on matters related to residential accommodation of MPs. General Purposes Committee. Advises on matters concerning the affairs of the House referred to it by the chairperson. Apart from these financial committees and departmentally related standing committees, 3 other committees ensure government accountability towards Parliament and citizens. These are the Committee on Government Assurances, Committee on Subordinate Legislation and the Committee on Petitions. Meanwhile, ad hoc committees are appointed by either House or the presiding officers from time to time for a specific purpose. They cease to exist when they finish the task assigned to them and submit a report. Also, select committees are formed to examine specific bills. So how are the members nominated to respective committees? Well, the parties mutually agree and leaders are then asked to submit names of the members for consideration by the presiding officers. In suggesting names, leaders generally keep in mind that as far as possible, a member doesn't serve on a committee for more than 2 terms in a row. After receiving all the names, presiding officers approve nomination of members to various committees. The nominated members are notified in Parliamentary Bulletin Part 2. They are also formally informed individually. Seats on each committee are allocated to different parties and groups in the House as far as practicable in proportion to their respective strength in the House. Suitable number of seats on these committees are also allocated to independents and unattached members. Minutes of the sittings of committees are also laid on the table of the House along with the relevant reports. These reports are adopted by broad consensus among the members. However, a member of the committee may give a notice of dissent on the report of the committee and it is presented to the House along with the report. The action-taken reports of the committees have persuasive value and are treated as considered advice given by the committee. The demands for grants and the bills which are reported upon by the committees are considered by the Houses in the light of the reports of the committees. In respect of reports and demands for grants and other subjects in the ministry or the department is concerned, it is required to take action on the recommendations and conclusions contained in the report and furnish action taken replies thereon within 3 months. Action taken notes received from the ministries are examined by the committee and action taken reports thereon are presented to the House. The origin of the committee system in India can be traced back to the constitutional reforms of 1919. The standing orders of the Central Legislative Assembly provided for a committee on petitions, select committee on amendments of standing orders, and select committee on bills. There was also a provision for a public accounts committee and a joint committee on a bill. Apart from committees of the Legislative Assembly, members of both houses of Central Legislature also served on standing advisory committees attached to various departments of Government of India. All these committees were purely advisory in character and functioned under the control of government, with the minister in charge of the department acting as the chairperson of the committee. In independent India, the first Public Accounts Committee was constituted in April 1950. Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sunset TV. Goodbye for now from my side.
संसद टीवी के और भी प्रोग्राम्स देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा YouTube चैनल और हाँ, इन्हें लाइक और शेयर करना ना भूलें।